Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to this episode of our show. This is your host, Keith Doherty. Today our special guest is top real estate agent Brian Lanoza of Century 21 Advantage Gold based out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Brian entered the real estate business with no college or professional sales training and began his career in 2004, all with Century 21 Advantage Gold, now Pennsylvania's largest Century 21 firm. That year, he earned the Century 21 Masters Ruby Award and won Rookie of the Year. Every year, he's been one of the top producing Century 21 agents in Pennsylvania. And for the last 4 years, and 5 out of those last 8, he has earned the Century 21 Centurion Award, which is the highest achievement award for production in the Century 21 system. In 2013 and 15, he earned the Quality Service Award as well. He is a proud husband, father of 2 children, and of which the youngest is 5. So with all that, Brian, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Keith.
I guess, Brian, if you could start for our listeners, what led you into real estate? Was it something that you knew you always wanted to do, or did you kind of stumble into it?
Well, actually, I was working in the printing industry right out of high school. At the time, I was having respiratory issues, and I'd been in the printing industry for 10 years out of high school. One of my last doctor's appointments, when I was 26 years old, my doctor actually looked at me. I should really consider a career change if I wanted to see 30. And at that time, I'd already been toying with the idea of getting into some form of real estate investment to basically supplement my income. So his advice not only shocked me, but it strengthened my desire to get into the real estate industry. So I've never had any professional sales experience other than I used to sell cars. My only prior experience with real estate wasn't a very good one. When I purchased my first home, we didn't have buyer agency at the time, so we used a listing agent, and he didn't help us get a really good deal, I felt. And afterward, we found a lot of problems with the house after we purchased it. So when I got into the real estate industry, I always remembered the way I felt when I was treated by that agent, and I knew I wanted to do right by my clients if I did become a real estate agent. Excellent.
So it sounds like you kind of, like you said, you were almost forced into at least making a change and happened to be real estate. And I think it's great what you said that you looked at the industry of how you were treated and you're like, okay, this is definitely not how it should be done. And that's a nice driving force for you. So like you said, moving forward, you make sure that your clients don't feel like you did during that transaction.
Exactly.
So, Brian, do you think you could talk a little about what personal attributes or traits or qualities that you think have most contributed to the success you had, and then talk a little bit about how you developed those?
Yes. In my opinion, honesty, integrity, being available for my clients and potential clients, and just being myself. My parents brought me up. I'm the 5th out of 5 siblings. I'm the youngest. We were brought up fairly religious. We were always taught the golden rule to treat others the way we want to be treated, and I totally believe in doing the right thing, per se. To me, if you do right by people and help them in any way that you can, then money will be a form of a reward, and I also believe in karma.
Excellent. I think you brought up another huge point that other guests on the show have said, that especially in real estate, that it's more about the relationship and helping others. And I think it's really the golden rule and lesson in life, no matter what profession you're in. Treat others like you want to be treated, help others achieve what they want to achieve, and the money is a byproduct of doing the right thing for people.
Right, yep.
So do you think you could give us maybe an example or some examples of when you've used your trades and how they've played a role in your path towards success?
Yes, I've helped many clients in the last several years who had hurdles maybe right before settlement. I had one client who had to remove items like a refrigerator out of the house at the last minute, the day of settlement. He had no one to turn to, and I didn't want settlement to get delayed or him to have to hire somebody last minute. So I actually helped him remove the refrigerator. There's been a few times when I've actually taken money out of my own pocket to close deals. Only absolutely necessary times. I don't advertise that, of course. But one time I had a military relocation referral. My relocation department called me and said they had a client who'd been turned down by every other agent because the price point that he was at was really low, and the commission would have been extremely low. Well, I was really happy to accept that referral. I felt privileged to be able to help Sean purchase his first home. He's not only military, but he's actually a police officer in our area. So I would have done it for free if I had the opportunity. You know, I didn't care about the money at all, and it just gave me a chance to feel like I was giving back in some way to a member of our military. They make sacrifices for us every day, and I felt this was a great opportunity for me to kind of give back. So these are just examples of ways that I've been able to obtain 5-star feedback from clients, and that really helps me grow my business online.
Oh, that's a great story, and that's a great way. Like you said, you know, you would have done it for free just to help them out. So that's an awesome story there. Can you talk now? Obviously, you know, you kind of made a transition. You had some, like you said, you're sick, and the doctor said, hey, maybe you need to, you know, or consider a different career path. So you kind of jumped into this, and I'm sure it probably hasn't been, you know, just a perfect path to success. So can you talk about some of the major adversities or trials that you've had to overcome in order to have the success that you've had so far?
Yeah, absolutely. In 2008 and 9, they really come to mind. They were two of the worst real estate markets in history. And not only that, I was involved in an auto accident. In 2009, my son was born, which was fantastic. My wife, unfortunately, was also in an automobile accident in 2009, right before my son was born. So while some of these experiences were both terrible, and of course my son's birth was like a miracle, I struggled to maintain production like so many other agents did, of course, in those times. And while I was seeing many colleagues take jobs at like Home Depot or quitting the business altogether, I really made sure that I kept pushing through by staying focused and keeping my eyes on what I could control, which is finding people to help and helping those people who found me online and walking into the office and whatnot. So I still ended up selling over 30 houses in 2008. And being in the top 21% in 2009, even though that particular year was my worst production year. But I just felt I couldn't give up. I had a wife and 2 kids to, you know, counting on me, and just had to do whatever I could to make things work.
Yeah, and that kind of leads me to my next day, which is exactly what I was going to ask you is, you know, what kept you going? You know, it sounds like your why and your driving force of why you didn't give up is your wife, your family. You know, you didn't have an option. There was no, okay, I'm just going to quit this. You know, you had to make it work.
Yeah, and my kids and my wife are, you know, so supportive of me, and they're always there for me. I don't miss anything that I would consider important in their lives. And, you know, the only way that I could do what I do is with knowing that they're always there.
I guess, you know, Brian, looking forward, what do you see your vision for your career, say, over the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, I see myself obtaining a broker's license, which I've slowly and steadily earned credits for. I'm not really super interested in managing, but I definitely want to become a partner in my company. It's a really good company. I've been here my whole career. They have a lot to offer, and I would love to actually be a partner. And I have spoken to my broker about that on occasion in the past.
Excellent. And I guess, you know, kind of on top of that as well, what do you feel is the best way that you market yourself as a real estate professional so you can have continual growth?
The best way to market myself for my continual growth, in my opinion, is through my quality service and by obtaining 5-star type reviews. Keeping in touch with my past clients for referrals and repeat business. To me, there's no greater advertisement than that of happy clients.
And I think a lot of times people have a misconception, I guess, of real estate agents, you know, what they bring to the table, what they can do. I think maybe people just assume because of the barrier, you know, the barrier to entry is rather straightforward. You know, you do a little bit of training, you pass the test, and now you have a license, and you know, you're an instant agent. So what do you think the biggest misconception or myth that people have about working with a real estate agent is?
The biggest myth I see from people working with a real estate agent is that we're all the same. We are definitely not all the same. I recommend to everyone out there who's considering buying, selling real estate, or has general questions about real estate to do some serious research before they call a real estate agent. Make sure they're a realtor, first of all. Realtors are held to a higher standard and by a code of ethics. And secondly, make sure that they're full-time in real estate. Full-time real estate agents who are good at what you need from them, they'll always be able to serve you full-time. Their attention won't be distracted by another career. They really don't have other another part of their life to answer for professionally, and I think you'll get the best bang for your buck, so to speak, from a realtor who's full-time.
And it's kind of a, let's ask this like a hypothetical situation. Let's say you get a call from a family member. They're in another state. They want to sell their home. They give you a call and say, hey, Brian, we're looking to sell. What advice would you give them to help them be able to select an agent that could best serve their needs? Kind of like you take care of your people. What would you tell them to look for? What kind of things how would you advise them?
I would tell my family, my friends, and really anyone else who lives in another state who needs a real estate agent to call me first. Under any circumstance, call me first. I have a relocation department at my disposal with some of the best realtors in the whole country who I can refer to them. And this way they're not hiring somebody who's sort of like a cold call. These are professionals who do this for a living, and they're probably some of the best of the best.
And Brian, if somebody's looking for an agent or real estate help in your area, especially Philadelphia, the Pennsylvania area, what's the best way that somebody can learn more about you and how you can help them?
I can be reached directly on my cell phone at 215-317-0082. You can reach me on my email, which is goldjacketrealtor@gmail.com. You can reach me on my website at phillyandsuburbsrealestate.com or brianlanoza.c21.com. I can also be reached on my Twitter handle, which is Philly Houses, the number 4, the letter U, or C-21 Advantage Gold, Brian Lanoza on Facebook.
Well, Brian, we want to certainly take the time to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come here and share your real estate professional experience with all of our listeners. And if you're listening to this show and you want to learn more about Brian and how he can help you, we're going to have a link below this video to his site. We'll have his number and email and any other ways that you can contact Brian. But definitely, if you're looking for any type of real estate or you need help in that, especially in the Philadelphia area, reach out to Brian and see what he can do for you. So with all that said, everybody, until our next show, have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Keith.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.